Hey, good evening, everyone. Green Flag out on the Go Fast podcast, along with Bibster. I'm Rob Hinckley. Kelly Jeffries in the house. Mrs. Bibster back for a second week after teaching middle schoolers. Ooh, we're not worthy. And then,
No, we are not.
and then from Davenport Speedway, Brett Severson, Shane Davis. We're going to review Davenport Speedway season. What a great season it is. Lots to get to. I mean, I have a whole page full of stuff, including some special announcements. We're going to bring in the man Kelly Jeffries here in a minute. First of all, let's recap Team Dunright from over the weekend. Roberts Motorsports Cars, the super late models, Friday and Saturday down in Farmer City. 32 good late models on hand for the Mars race down there on Friday. Steve Lance, Knight, Jeremiah Hurst ends up sixth in the feature. Unfortunately, Garrett Alberson, not so lucky, blows an engine during his heat race. It blows an engine in his heat race and did not make the feature event. Saturday night, Maya got third in his heat race, and then on kind of a rubber down single lane track, ended up 10th in the feature. And I think that's where he started, was 10th. So, but the line of cars, 2nd through 10th, all bumper to bumper, just no place to pass for him. So, but anyway, not too bad of a run for the field of cars. Brian Shirley sweeps the weekend, winning both Friday and Saturday. And of course, you saw Saturday's Illinois State Championship right here on Dunright.tv. Tyler Soppy had good runs over the weekend at Davenport, battling for the lead with Cam Reimers, went over the bank and turned 4 and recovered to finish 6th in that feature. Ends up 4th at Maquoketa on Saturday and 6th in the big Sport Mod Stampede at East Moline last night, which we'll talk about as well. So not too bad of a weekend, and we'll get to where Team Dunright is going this week. Well, part of Team Dunright, you may have guessed it after you saw us at the 300 Raceway in Farley. We are the official pay-per-view provider now of the 43rd Yankee Dirt Track Classic, and Kelly escaped. Should have lassoed it. Okay. Hey, I want to bring Kelly in to talk about more. We are the official pay-per-view provider, the Yankee Dirt Track Classic. But that's not all, sir. What's going on?
Well, everything is going on. If you guys can hear me okay. Yeah, we are going to be at the Yankee. That's one of the things that we kind of had a goal when we first set out this year to end up doing a couple big shows like that. And the Yankee was actually brought up. So thank you to 300 Raceway and everybody involved there for giving us a shot. And I just got back from Vinton today. I went up and now we've been using a product here for this last year, but now we've actually got a real live broadcasting computer. So pretty excited about that and pretty scared about that too. What we'll be able to do is live scoring. So now we'll be able to do the live scoring just like Lucas Oil Boys and everything else. So that's going to really
prove me wrong.
well.
Not that kind of scoring.
Well, no, it'll just
Yeah.
show up on the screen.
Yeah.
You know who's in. You know because
Any
some of these
place that has a
races.
transponder.
Yeah.
Right.
First, second, third, fourth, fifth.
Yeah, and we can also we'll tie into if they don't have a transponder like at Davenport, they tied into like the tower, so it'll just be like it would be the top 5 like the tower has if it's not.
Right. And we'll speak to that you just mentioned in a little while.
Right.
All right.
Yep.
So, you know, we're just end of the year. I'm a little bit nervous. We've got 3 or 4 days to play with this thing. I think we'll be okay. But, you know, it's going to be nice to be able to throw our own graphics on this stuff. You know, it's just taking it up to the next level. Real excited about the year that we had. Ended up at way more tracks that we thought we were going to go to. And, you know, thank you to everybody here that's helped us. We didn't get all the stuff I wanted to do done, but man, we got a lot. I mean, we're averaging what 5 to 6 tracks a weekend. Not many rainouts this year. You know, I mean, COVID was pretty bad on us, but you know, last year it was all rain. It seemed like so. I know that Kevin in Dubuque said it didn't have one rainout. Well, they only had that one rainout.
One.
Yep.
You know, that's pretty good for a season.
Yeah.
And thanks to Dubuque Fairground Speedway and Kevin, and he's invited us back next year. So that's going to be fun. They've done a great job up there. There's a lot of firsts this year too, you know. So they've done a great job, I think. And Davenport, Shane, and you know, the Kais. Thank you. You guys did an amazing job. Obviously, Brett. Yeah, you did. But yeah, Ricky and Brenda have been amazing. You know, they're the only two tracks that we're completely done with right now, right?
Yep.
Rob's like my teleprompter. Right? I forget stuff, so I'm like, I feel like Biden. Maybe not that bad.
No, you're not that bad.
So I just wanted to step in here. I got a ton of stuff to do. We're working on flyers. I'm working on something for the Fall Bash. We'll get into that later. We're going to be helping them out too. So, but the Yankee is like 4 days away.
Yep.
I've got to get some banners designed. I've been going back and forth. I need to figure this computer out. So I just wanted to step in and say thanks. We're going to be giving away some tickets. We have tickets to the Yankee. I'm not sure how many yet, so we can't give too many away, but we'll be giving away some every day.
Yep.
Until the show, Friday or Saturday night. I'm also planning on doing a live show on Thursday for the practice. That's going to be free. We're going to try to. That's going to be our experimenting.
Yes.
Hopefully we can all be there to play with it. We're going to do a couple cameras. We're also going to try to get an ad together and put on the big screen, so we're going to be able to show our stream on the big screen and instant replays and stuff on the big screen there. We're going to have specials. I'm going to have somebody working the booth there, you know, in the front. So I'm trying to get a drone guy. So if there is a drone operator that wants to come out either Friday or Saturday, Saturday would be great. Friday's okay too, but Saturday would be perfect. We can get some drone footage. That would be amazing. So if anybody's out there listening and want to do that. And other than that, just thanks to everybody for all the fans and everybody that's helped us through this whole year. Thanks for your support. Looking forward to next year, and we're not even done with this year, man.
Oh, yeah.
We still got a lot of stuff going on. I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of the winter, but I'm sure we'll have something going on. I'm sure we're going to have something going on. So just looking forward to keeping this thing going and growing and everything else. But thanks to everybody, and especially, you know, you guys from Davenport and Dubuque and just everybody, man. And we'll, you know, as we get done with some of these other tracks, we'll try to bring in more. But for right now, Dubuque and Davenport, thank you so much. It was an honor to be a part of it. Excited about next year and excited to be building this, and we're going to be looking for other partners and stuff next year too. So
Great.
You guys have a great show. I want to hear about all
Kelly,
this
hey,
stuff because I wasn't
great
in
job.
Davenport.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is
Missed
that
everything.
you know, we had this COVID going on. We weren't going to be able to have any fans in the stands, so you know there was only one thing to do. Kelly jumped in, got both feet wet. He came to the rescue. I mean, this is you know, a new road he was traveling down, and yet you know, he took the bull by the horns. We put on a great show. Things went well, and we were able to kind of navigate through those tough times without any fans in the stands. And Rob, you were out there with me a couple of nights. I mean, my God,
That was a lot of
kinda
fun.
eerie. You look out in the stands, 6,500 seating, nobody up there
Zero.
cheering, nobody screaming and going crazy, and we got her done.
But plenty of raccoon poop.
Oh, yeah, that was terrible.
And owls.
And I'll, yes.
right.
Well, and you may have also figured it out by what Kelly's talking about, and I was going to give him the spotlight, but Dunright.tv is the title sponsor of the 43rd Yankee Dirt Track Classic at 300 Raceway. So it is now known as the.
Forget everything.
That's all right. That's why that's why I write it down. I wrote it down.
And a huge shout out to Speed Sport for helping us with everything that they do, Chris and
Nate and my man Ramiro. Yeah.
Everybody. Sorry again, my teleprompter was broke.
but anyway, yes. So now the race this week will be known as the 43rd annual Dunright.tv Yankee Dirt Track Classic. So we are proud of that. We have, in fact, tonight we have 4 pairs of tickets to give away. Your choice of Friday or Saturday. First pair in just a couple minutes. So we're going to keep going around. We are going to get to the review on the Davenport Speedway season and what a year it was. But first, we want to go around the track, around the room, just takeaways on the weekend. Bibster, you want to start us off?
Oh man, well, I think it was a busy weekend. I'll say that. It was one of our, you know, just felt like I was either at a racetrack or in the car or waiting at a racetrack for a race to happen most of the weekend. But I got to say that the street stock feature at Burlington, watching John Oliver Jr. work his way up to the win, working through the field, and how he was navigating turn 1 and 2 like nobody else was. He was diming it and watching 4 or 5 laps. He was every lap he diamonded it. And you at first you're like, it's not really making much ground up. He was just a little bit. And 4 or 5 laps later, he's in the lead and he was gone. So that was definitely probably the race of the weekend. I mean, other than almost all the features last night at East Moline, because those were all really, really good. But yeah, I think that would probably be the highlight of the weekend, was getting to watch that. And getting back to Burlington, I haven't been to Burlington since the first race of the year that was there. So it had been a while since I was back at that track, and always a fun place to definitely make sure. 34 Raceway is definitely, they call it the premier place to race, and I can definitely attest to that.
Good. One of my takeaways on the weekend, besides what we just announced, that DoneRight.tv is not only the official sponsor, but the official pay-per-view provider of the Yankee Dirt Track Classic. That's one. But one thing that came about with us is show efficiency, the way that shows are run, and it came to my mind. And so Friday, Davenport, we were out at 9:00, guys. When we threw our final.
Yeah,
we were done at 9.
We were done at 9:00.
Out of there at 9.
When you talk about that, it's a whole team effort. You got somebody down the pit area. They're lined up off turn 4.5 mile. They're waiting for the signal to send the cars out. We let the cars know now. We do the wave lap when they come by. We don't make a lap and then wave. We do it when they come out of turn 4. And from there, we're ready to go race, and they're going down the backstretch, yellow lights out, and it's showtime.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And then and not so efficient at one of the other tracks that I was at. Well, it was Peoria on Saturday night, but the Mars Racing was good. And again, congrats to Brian Shirley on that. And then last night at East Moline, again, had over 100 cars and zipped through that show last night, Brett.
Yeah, done by
9:30.
9:27 or something like that.
Yep.
We were done.
Right. And then got another takeaway, Bipster, on the weekend. Anything comes to mind? I mean, track last night at East Moline.
Yeah.
That was my other one that I had.
Yeah, that track at East Moline was amazing.
See, I cheated. I wrote them all down. I already had them in mind. I'm putting you guys on the spot.
You looked at me like I should have known. I was like, something else. Like well, maybe the fact that I almost cried when I found out Sport Miles were doing 40 laps at first. I was like, oh.
Man, and it said 20 in my race.
I know. And then it was you're not at 20. I'm like, oh, good, it's 20. It's last. And I gotta tell fans, it's not that. By the end of when you've done a 3-day weekend of racing, by that last feature, the last night, you are ready for the last lap to happen. You're like, all right, let's get home. And so I'm thinking, when Brett, you said it was 40 laps to start with, and I'm like, that sounds like a bad idea. And then you're telling me, you're saying 20 because that's what said in my race pass. I'm like, well, maybe they changed it.
Well,
and then it goes,
That's all right.
Oh no, it's 40 laps, and I'm up there filming like, oh, this could go on for a while, which it did. I'll say those guys, it was a clean race. We kind of had once you got a couple laps of green, everyone got spread out. It was really good racing, a really good track, multiple grooves. And they got through that race really quick. I mean, it was faster than some 15-lap features we've had.
Well, I looked down on lap 12, or I looked down on lap 10, and Doug Hack is very efficient at giving the halfway sign. He didn't give the halfway cross flags. I thought, uh-oh. Had a yellow on lap 12, so I finally asked Kenny Reimers, how many laps are we going? 40? Oh, that is why. So, but anyway, great weekend overall. We'll get into our techno talk real quick, and something we tried to do it at Peoria and it didn't work, but we've done it at many tracks. Our speed shots that we've done. Kyle, talk about those a little bit.
So what we've been doing, and again, this kind of is going to change as we are upgrading our equipment, but it's not. It's the same concept. So what we like to do is we like to throw a camera up, usually on the front stretch. It doesn't happen at every track we go to. Sometimes it's just the distance from where we're filming to where the front track is. Sometimes it depends on what is available for us to put a camera on. Some tracks we've gone to, there's not really, where we basically dangling it in front of a car, and that's usually a bad time for our cameras and our car. And so what the speed shot does, it kind of helps, and if you guys have watched at home when we've been able to do those, it kind of gives you a sense of how fast these cars are really going when they're an inch away from the camera flying by the front stretch. So that's what we call it, the speed shot. And it's a lot of fun. So as we upgrade our equipment over the winter and we start to roll out some of these new things, it's going to be one of the things you see. It's going to be a little bit more consistent in some places because we'll actually, instead of relying on always being wireless, some places will actually be hardlined, which is great when we have these tracks that we do consistent work with, like Davenport and East Moline, where we can come in and we know, this year, like as much as last year was a learning year on how we kind of film races and how that works, and this year was a learning year on how to bring it as a pay-per-view to you guys at home. now next year we're taking 2 years of experience and 2 years of gearing up to be able to then go to tracks and be able to go, oh, if we're going to be here all summer, we're going to run this wire here and we're going to do this here. So that way it's going to make it easy. It's going to make for a better show for you guys at home. It's going to make it easier for our operators to roll into a place and not have to, here's 500 foot of cable, go run it to the front stretch. Like,
Right, we're hardwired up.
Right.
and more at the end of the night and going, now go roll that back up.
That's right.
And one of the takeaways from the weekend when you're talking about that is with the track preparation at Davenport all year long, we've had, a racy track. We had 3 grooves of racing. And again, Friday night was no different. We had Matt Ryan leading the late model feature, white flag lap, coming out of turn 4. They roll up on lap traffic, and here comes Justin Kine, that 15K. Slipped by on the bottom, picked up the win. And by the way, that was the 4th time Justin Kine did that to Matt Ryan this year.
That was
and he did it to Jeff Ike at Farley on Wednesday night.
Probably didn't
Did the
go
same
out for
thing.
coffee, afterwards to have a talk. But, and then, in the modified feature, here you got Spencer Dirks. That kid's really coming around. He won the feature a couple of weeks ago, Ronnie Whedon Memorial, went to West Liberty Saturday night, won the big dance up there, comes back Friday night, and that kid, he's got things well under control. Run right up there on a cushion. And then our friend from California comes sneaking up on him when he was in lap traffic, when he rolled it into 3 on the white flag. Same thing, he bobbled a little bit, just enough to give that guy a run, and they come across the line. I'm going to tell you what, we talk about transponders, Brett. It was so close that, you wanted to have an electronic scoring system instead of the human one where you get, you get people giving you a hard time. So, when I looked at it, I see it a certain way, and we all know. You guys, Bipster, you're into it, Rob. You can be sitting in the grandstands a certain way. An example would be one of the World Outlaw shows we had this year. Mm-hmm. We're out in the stands. They're coming across the line. Here it is, B-Shep and
Thornton.
Ricky Thornton
RTJ.
Jr.
Yes.
And they come across the line side by side. And so World Outlaw says, hey, Thornton Jr. wins again, and I point to the laptop, and the transponder rundown has B-Shep winning it. Yep. So it really saves the day because based on where you're at, things can look different. I know, I've had people in the past say, hey, I got a camera, look at the video, look at this, look at that. We don't have instant replay in dirt track racing, but we certainly want to hear what everybody's got to say. But hey, great racing again this weekend. A couple of races come right down to the wire.
Sure did.
I will say, expanding on that, though, going back to that World of Outlaws show, that is a situation where, yes, transponders are wonderful, but they're not always correct. Because
The way you put it in the car
right,
too.
Wherever you put it is where it's going to store.
Well, and also it's the transmitter part. If you put it in, if you have like this, and the transmitter's on this side, and somebody puts it in there, there's your 100th of a second.
Right.
So hey, what we got is they got to be mounted on the engine mid plate, and part of the rolling through tech is they got to be on the mid plate. They got to be pointing the right direction. Tech has to check that. Tech did check it after that World Outlaw show. And, Rick Eshelman, he's one that said, hey, he called it the wrong way. Ricky Thornton Jr., and I pointed down to the screen. He goes, oh, hey, nope, we got B-Shep.
Well, and they had me backing up scoring that night.
Right.
And I had Ricky Thornton Jr. too.
Yeah.
And then come to find out the next day, I believe Ricky's wife posted it was our mess up. We put it in the wrong place.
Yep.
Yeah, here's what it is. We've been advancing in technology, for several years in racing. And, the old days, the cars come rolling through the back gate. I'd write down 120 names by class, by hometown. And, the scores would hand you a piece of paper and it'd have numbers wrote on it. Well, that's not the way it's done anymore. Now we've got, the technology, and we're using My Race Pass. And now, you guys have made my job much easier because of your efficiency.
Made my job much easier.
So, you got everything keyed in. People walk in, they hit a computer button, it draws their number. We're not pulling chips out of a bag most nights. And then, really, you hand me a computer printout. It tells me, hey, the heat race is 10 laps, top 4 move on. We're going to have the first 6 double rows come out each one of those 3 heat races in the top 4. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those efficiencies that we've added to the program this year is Done Right TV. Being able to sell this to people that are not able to make it to the racetrack. And, over the, period of time, when I look at, some of the shows we've done, we did that show up in Maquoketa, Iowa, and it was the Lucas Oil show. And we had people from Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Missouri, Minnesota, Michigan, Oregon, Texas,
Nevada and Florida were in there.
Florida, and also remember we had 2 from Germany.
Germany, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and then we found out one of the Germany people was actually sitting in the stands. So we had one watching from Germany and another German actual resident sitting in the stands that night.
Awesome.
And they were texting us, which is good. But
So whenever we can bring technology into the sport, which you guys have done a wonderful job, and you know what Kelly's talked about now, about how we're going to have live scoring scrolling across the top of the screen like NASCAR does, like World Outlaws does, like Lucas Oil does. That really adds another component to the fan and what they get to enjoy when they go to a dirt track.
Well, we'll be
They
able to
watch it on TV.
That's right. And what we'll be able to do also is, and this is my favorite thing to do, I'll be able to type in little tidbits of information on drivers or whatever and be able to put that on there also. So that's my favorite part. But hey, we want to say hi to everybody that's tuning in, and wish we could call you all out tonight like we normally do. Chuck Hobbs, good evening to you. And Nick Jensen, we'd love to have you up here for another show sometime. And Chuck, Super Stock, Chuck Hobbs says Super Stock Tractors will be pulling in Paw.
Yeah, so that's garden tractors.
Garden tractors.
Yep, there'll be some garden tractor pulls as well as 18 other classes for the ISP, which they haven't had many pulls this year. So the ones they have, same way with when we've gone to the ECI ones, they've been really good. Hook count is how they call it. They have car count for cars, and hook count is what they do tractor pulls. And so if you're in the Paw area, definitely check it out. That'll be Sunday, and I'm not sure on the time when that starts, but definitely.
Got the information.
Yeah, definitely. Tractor pull is one of those sports that hasn't been able to have as many events. So for them when they are able to have them, they've always seemed to be well supported. So it's always a good time.
And Chuck Hobbs answering your Sport Mod question from last night. It was a handful of car lengths. They closed up for a late restart, but Shane Paris able to pull away. Dustin Schramm coming home second in that one. So
and Paris has been hot this year. He's really been coming on the second half of the season. And Schramm is kind of having a little bit of an off year, but they still build their own racing chassis up there in Sterling, Illinois.
Yeah, they do.
They build those
Midwest
Thunder Valley mods.
Thunder Valley,
yep. One of the things that happens is, if you're driving one of the brand cars, like a Rage or a Harris car, you've got all that information flowing into Harris or Rage from all the teams that race, and you get to take advantage of all that information that's flowing in. When you're a one-man band and you're Thunder Valley Mods out of Sterling, Illinois, you're on your own, baby. And he's doing a heck of a job being on his own.
Got 2 wins at East Moline. Both of them coming after a couple weeks where they didn't have so good a luck, but went back, worked on it, came back and got a couple wins. Second place last night, Sport Mod Stampede. We want to get to Davenport Speedway. We're going to give away, first of all, our first pair of tickets to the 43rd Dunright.TV Yankee Dirt Track Classic, and they will be at the window on a will call basis. You can go Friday or Saturday night. Answer the question, though, and you got to answer it on the Dunright TV Facebook page. And first one is going to be kind of easy. And first one that we see with the right answer on the Dunright TV Facebook page will be the winner. And we want to know the last name of the owners of 300 Raceway. Last name of the owners of 300 Raceway. Hit us up on the Dunright TV Facebook page. So let's get into Davenport Speedway for the 2020 season. I almost said 2000. Wow. 20, a little behind. 2020 season. And again, like Shane mentioned, we started no fans in the stands, that kind of thing. But boy, Lisa Benningfield, you are absolutely right. It's the Simons. Lisa Benningfield, we will have your name for 2 tickets at 300 Raceway ticket booth on, they'll be up there on Friday. So you can go either Friday or Saturday and let us know. Yep, Simons is correct. Lisa Benningfield in first. We'll have another question. We got 4 pairs to give away, so don't go away. And I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. But anyway, hey, first thoughts way back when, Shane, when it feels like way back when the Kais decided to go ahead and race, and we look down, there's 180 cars in the pits. Next week, 160 some. We're on TV only, sitting among the owls and the raccoons. And so again, your thoughts.
I looked over there at the pit area, and I mean, my God, they were letting 10 people per car into the pits. So although you didn't need the numbers to make everything work financially as strong in the pit area, because instead of paying $12 to get in, they're paying $30 to get in the pits. Mm-hmm. So literally, you could have half the crowd and still generate revenue. And thank God we had a wonderful crowd. People come from all over to support us. I mean, I looked down some of the numbers here I wrote down, and like you said, Rob, opening night we had 180 cars. We had 160 cars opening night. We had 185 night number 2. I mean, my God, we had 250 laps of nonstop racing action with no fans. Again, you and I are sitting up there, nobody in the stands. You don't, and really the crowd's got to be that special component that makes it all work. Because the driver pulls down, he's worked hard, he's sweating, pops his helmet off, jumps on top of the roof, the end of the race win, and there's nobody out there screaming and cheering.
Yep.
Nobody.
No
And
Neil
so,
Cheater.
yeah. And so, we miss the fans. And, it kind of made me really realize how important of a piece of that racing fabric they are, that make everything work every week at the Speedway. And, of course, no fans, no beer sales, no food sales. And, by the way, we're talking about food sales. How about the fair food last Friday night at Davenport Speedway? Bipster, did you get anything?
No, I didn't actually.
You ate some of my funnel cake.
Funnel
that night,
cake. We
didn't
did
you?
do
You
some
did
of
have
some
funnel
of the
cake.
rest.
Come on.
But
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Oops. You should have
Okay.
told me you weren't supposed to eat that.
I'm on a diet, so it was hard walking through there. But
You know what, Rob? They had $5 for anything. I think it was $5. I got one of those foot-long corn dogs.
awesome.
I mean, they had 3 egg rolls, 3 crab rangoon. They had the lemonade shake-ups, which are real good.
Yep.
And if you get a refill, it's $3. But there was a heck of a crowd out there after the races supporting all those fair food vendors that were there at Speedway. And then to have the shed that was open. I mean, it just makes for such a racing experience. Hey, you get all done with the races. You want to wind down. You want to go out and meet some of the drivers. I mean, what Mississippi Valley Fairgrounds has done over the years, the new scoreboard, the new concrete, the new wall, renovate the bathrooms. My wife's big on bathrooms. If the bathrooms are cruddy, she won't go back. So it's got to be a clean bathroom. Spent a lot of money renovating those bathrooms, then came back a few years ago and did them all over again. And that shed that they've added on the back of the building is second to none. I mean, it's a first-class, establishment. You can zip in there, get in the air conditioning out of the heat, and meet some of your favorite drivers. Meet the officials. If you don't like the way Brett scores, wait for him to come. And
I don't
you
go
get
to
on
the
Brett's
shed.
back.
I don't. I will tell you.
Dangerous.
I don't go to the
We have our mini shed in the
shed.
back.
Yes, we have our own shed at the picnic table.
called the shack.
That's
Jenny,
right.
Jenny Smith from East Moline from the Bull Ring. Bipster saves himself for hot dogs at
I
East
do, that
Moline.
is true.
Yeah,
And they are
it's
good hot
cheeseburgers
dogs.
for me, Jenny, and the hot dogs. So yeah, that's
So one of the other
Part of
things we
that.
want to talk
Yes,
about
sir.
is, over there at Davenport Friday night, Jimmy Owens set a new track record. No one has ever turned under 14 seconds on that quarter-mile racetrack, and Jimmy Owens rolled through there at 13.975, set a new track record, just blistered the racetrack.
Well, didn't both those races have a track record set
They
that
did.
weekend, and then
They
Jimmy
did.
set the final one? Yeah,
Right,
that's what I
right.
was
So it was
thinking.
just,
yeah.
we
Jimmy
did-
just set the one here the 28th,
Yeah.
July 28th.
So it was broke twice this year.
Yep.
Yeah, so when I look through and I look at over the years, we've had different people that have raced. Let's see, Berkey won in 2004, World Outlaws Show. Brian Harris won in 2007. Chad Simpson 2018. Jimmy Owens 2019. But when we come to 20, we had 3 World Outlaw shows at Davenport Speedway, so we give the fans what they want. A lot of great racing action. You had the Mars Racing Series roll into town, and you had the Malvern Bank, Hoker Trucking, super late model guys.
Right.
So we literally had 3, 4, 5, 6 late model specials this season at Davenport.
And every one of those specials had, one of them was 21, but every other one was almost 30 cars
Yeah.
or more every night.
Yeah,
So
30 car. In fact, the weekend we had the Malvern Bank Super Late Models. We had 39 opening night, and we had 31 or 32 on the Saturday night.
Yep.
So, when you add those two together and you look at how many cars and how many fans we had there, over 2 days, the Kais are excited about next year. We've talked about it. They said that if you like this year, the best is yet to come. That's
Definitely.
our mantra for next season.
Absolutely. Brett, your thoughts on the season?
Well, I'll go a little off what Shane said there is, when I look at racetracks, I look at destination tracks or destination races and, the ones that produce the car counts, the Marshalltowns, the Boones, Benton back in the day, I know they're under new promotion and not getting the cars they used to, but Independence. And this year we were one of those tracks. You know, we had our best car count of the year was 184, and that was in the second week of racing. We had one night that we were under 100 cars, and that was because, well, it was last week with
Weather.
storms in the area and high school football starting up, and there's just a whole bunch of reasons why that didn't produce the cars. But our average, and I keep averages of all the racetracks, and I got to update it so I don't know all those numbers, but our average for the year was 138 cars a night.
Come on.
Not counting World of Outlaws and the super late models and the Marshall cars.
Yeah.
So we became the Marshalltown and the Boone and the Ventons. You know, we put ourselves on that level. And I mean, that makes me feel good to be part of it.
You know, and here's another stat we can look at. In 2020 at Davenport Speedway, we're going to exclude the World Outlaws, Malvern Bank Super Late Models, those drivers that come from out of town for that special event. Our weekly show, we had 306 different drivers from 10 states, and that didn't include the Lucas Oil, Mars, Malvern Late Model, World Outlaw, none of that stuff. That is, a pretty strong number.
Yep.
We're pretty proud of it.
And it was every week. It was week after week. I mean, we had B-mains and sport mods and modifieds every week, and good numbers and late models every week. It was a really good year. I was really proud to be part of it. And I'm glad that I'm going to be part of it again next year.
Yeah.
I did get my invite back.
Yeah, we had to wait for the invite. Everybody
had to wait for the invite.
Have
Did you
guys talked to you? Did you get the invite? I'm like, well, they haven't invited me back yet. Uh-oh. So,
Well, I did. I finally got mine late at night when we were sitting down there alone. So.
That's right. So I think they were just going around talking to people and, asking who was going to come back. And, we were all excited because the core team that we have, are good people. And, that they invited back the bulk of the people, and with any business, there's going to be ebbs and flows of staffing. But we got a great team coming back next year. We got great things on the horizon. One of the things we talked about, and I talked about Ricky, and he'll speak to this later on. But transponders, we got to have them, and it's just going to make your job easier and everybody else's job easier. And it's just going to be another.
Oh, and I'm all for
another
it.
thing we add to the program at Davenport to make it run more efficiently. And when other tracks might look around and say, hey, you know what, we're doing a good job and be happy with that. They're looking at how can we do better?
How can we be better?
How can we give a better fan experience out there? And I just we're blessed to have Ricky and Brenda. We're blessed to have the staff we got. We're blessed to have you guys covering the races because we have just added another facet to that crown jewel we call dirt track racing.
Grandma can now watch their grandson race and might not be able to go out. It's. I used it last Wednesday. I was going to go up to Farley and walked out the door and literally opened the door and started sweating. I was like, nah, we're going to pay that $15. we're going to sit in my recliner with my cold beverages and my dinner and
You and nearly 100 others.
Yep.
Our first trip to Farley, so we always thank all of our viewers, no matter where we're at. Davenport was off the charts this year as far as viewers go. Hey, it's time to give away our second pair of tickets to the DoneRight.tv Yankee Dirt Track Classic. Again, we'll have them at the will call at the ticket window there at 300 Raceway. Make sure you answer on the Done Right TV Facebook page. So here is question number 2. The SLMR late models run 2 complete shows at the Yankee. Both the Malvern Bank West Series and the Hoker Trucking East Series will be in action combined non-points race. So here's the question. Who is currently second in the Hoker Trucking East Series points?
Second.
Who is currently second in the Hoker Trucking East Series points? Answer on our Facebook page, and first one with the correct answer will get you down for a pair of tickets.
That's a good one.
I got a guess, but I can't say. But
I don't even have a guess. So
well, I know who would have been, only because I think the one show that the last Malvern Bank show I was filming, I remember them talking about where the points stood before that race and where they would have stood after. So.
Right.
Yes.
So this is
that's a good question.
This is the East Series, sponsored by Hoker Trucking. And Steve, you got it. Steve Avenarius.
Like, yes.
Justin Kai is the correct answer.
Justin Kai.
I was going to guess that, but
Justin Kai is second in points. He's behind Tad Papashill. and Popsicle's been on a roll.
has.
One here, and he won at Liberty, I think. And but anyway, Justin Kai currently second in
Flying
points.
Farmer.
And so anyway, Steve is our winner on that one. Guys, more on Davenport this year.
Hey, you know what? The Kai's muscled through all. We had that. Now listen, I'm going to ask you guys, and I'm probably going to get 4 different pronunciations. Is it Derico, Derecho, Derecho? Derecho for Rob. What do we got out of you?
I'm going with Derecho.
Yep.
Derecho?
I'm gonna go
How
with
about you,
that 'cause I
Bipster?
couldn't-
Bipster, you got to be different.
I know, but I can't pronounce.
All right, I'll be different. I'm going to go with lots of wind.
All right,
Lots
of wind.
yeah, I'm
It
just
is
saying.
a Spanish term, from what I understand,
Good.
and it means right. And
It wasn't right.
but it's got
wasn't right.
other underlying terms in it because I looked it up and I pronounced it derecho just because I took 5 years of Spanish in school and I can't remember a word, but I remember derecho.
And I'll jump in on this since you brought that up, and this does tie into Davenport. When that happened, everybody had trees down. Everybody lost power. I was down for power at my house till Saturday, I think at like 2:00 in the afternoon, and my mother's house was Friday afternoon. Well, I was at the
Brett
track
got to the
my
point
friend.
where he was lighting his birthday candles.
Exactly. Exactly. And I was running out.
and fanning himself, or he set up one of the Gilligan's Island fans
Yes.
where he could control it with his toe.
Yes.
When it was.
But the tie into Davenport was, and I'll throw out some names here. The very first night, Frank Waters sends me a message, says, "Hey, I'm coming into town. You want a generator?" And I said, "You know what? I'll wait it out. I'll talk to you tomorrow." Dave Wada, another Davenport race car driver, sends me his address and says, "It's in the front of my trailer. Go grab it." And I had 3 guys at the racetrack Friday night say, "Do you have power yet?" And they're all like, "When we leave, we're dropping our generator." I'm like,
Right.
"No, I got a generator." So it just,
What a
these
great
people that I don't
support.
know outside of the racetrack
Right.
are willing to give me their $800,000, $2,000 generators to keep my refrigerator alive. And
It's amazing.
it's family.
What a
know,
racing family we
Yes.
have.
It really is. I'd given the guys a call, and they had 7 grain bins that were either destroyed, or I think 3 of them were damaged and 4 were destroyed. So they were dealing with that. And then Brenda Kai, in the insurance business she's involved in, trying to answer all the claims and the phone calls and everything associated
And still
with
put
that.
on a race.
And still prep a racetrack, put on a show. And hey, I got to admit, a lot of the drivers I talked to, even over at my house, I had a neighbor on one side of me, tree went down, ripped the wires out of the house, ripped the pole down with it. The other side, tree went down. A lot of damage. And I got to tell you, it took out my power too. So I got one of those little whisper quiet Honda generators, hooked it up to the refrigerator and the lamp in my front window. And, my wife had to have a fan, so I hooked it up to a fan, but fired that thing up, you couldn't even hear it running. So my neighbor Marty from across the street walks over and he goes, "My God, Shane," he says, "nobody on the block has got any power,
And
I
do.
see a light on in your house." I said, "Yeah, I got power." And he says, "How do you have power?" And I said, "I just got power, the light's on." He goes, "Yeah, you're right, the light's on." Turn around, scratch his head, and walk back across the street. Didn't tell him it was Honda power,
Honda
Yeah, it
power.
was-
but I had power.
It was power.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I was blessed. My neighbor went and scrambled, went out to Farm and Fleet, got 2 generators. He said there were 20 people standing around because at Farm and Fleet, you got to pull the ticket, and then you take it out. And they were all just standing there looking. And he walked in and said, "I'll take that one and that one." And he ran. And so we were able to plug our refrigerator into that. And by Wednesday afternoon, we were less than 52 hours without power. So we were in good shape.
It's about
Yeah, you're lucky.
So, as far as specials went, we talked about the late model specials. Street stock, we had a special last week.
24
paid
cars.
$1,000 to win, 24 cars. Nice turnout for
Quality
that.
cars, good racing.
And the Hawkeye Hustler, the number 4 car,
Which class?
Jeff Struck.
Street stock.
Oh, Jeff, yes,
Struck.
Jeff Struck Jr.
Picked off the win.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, that guy, he's been,
I guess I never heard him by the Hawkeye Hustler. I'm sorry, Jeff.
Hustler. You got to give him
Hawkeye
names.
Hustler or
That's
J
right.
Money?
Well,
That's right,
I
Jay
had
Money.
headphones on, so I can't always hear what he's saying.
Right.
Yeah. That's probably a good thing. Though.
Well, no, but I hear enough.
And then,
you like to talk to me, and it's like,
I asked him at East Moline which one he prefers. He says, "I don't care."
I don't care.
and then Nick Hickson, that guy is really come alive
Yes.
this year, the Ghost. And, it's another situation where one of his relatives not able to make it to the races, hopes she can make it next year. But she's been watching on Done Right TV.
Yeah.
Been able to watch Nick put it on him. Well, it's Friday night.
He had
The
problems.
big money's on the line.
Yep.
Water pump broke. The fan took out the radiator. They had a lot of damage.
And he
big
would
show of the year.
and he would have been a shoe in for
He would
that
have been
race.
out there,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, it was great also in the street stock seeing the Chicago area guys and the one guy, Kyle Anderson from Crown Point,
yeah.
Indiana.
Right.
Getting
came
those
down.
guys
Yep.
here. And, Zach Zuberbeer is just
Yep.
a monster.
Right.
Man,
Robert
that guy's
Cottom. Cottom was down there. I know
And
he's not as
Cottom,
far,
yep.
but
Yeah, but still, he was still out of the area, and Cottom had it going. And in fact, he had it going at East Moline last night. Would have won the feature, but he'll be
Yeah.
one. And I know he likes Davenport.
yeah, well, he's probably done for a little while because his car was going to the doctor, and he said he didn't think it was going to be revived. So
Oh, boy.
Well, they got one more car in that family. I know
that's
his
true. Yes, they
brother-
do. Yep.
His brother drives. So also,
You know, and Cam Reimer's coming up in that sport mod. That is a beautiful race car.
Yes,
That
it is.
beautiful black 21 car. Picked off a win Friday night at Davenport. And, Ogden, Iowa was a little bit of a trip.
yes, it is.
190 miles from East Moline, right?
In fact, I'm going to throw it out there. If anybody's listening, he is a super nice dude because
is.
I screwed up last night on the longest haul. Now we're making it good with him, and I've already talked to him. But I gave $50 to the wrong person, and he was by far the longest haul. And he was like, "You know what? It's cool. Don't worry about it." I was, "No, we're going to make it good." And when he left, he's probably thinking, "Yeah, right." So I contacted him 10 minutes after he left. Said, "What's your address? I'm sending you a check." So.
We were out on the tour back in the day, and we had that happen, and the track was giving away $50 to the long haul guy, and it happened to be me that night. And they gave it to another guy. And they asked me, "Well, Shane, he's got your $50. Go get it." And I said, "Oh, no way." I said, "I'm not doing it. You made the mistake, not me. You go get it. I can live without $50.
Right.
But,
He can have it. He probably needs it more
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't know how well that would
That's
go
right.
in the post race world of
Yeah.
Hey, you got $50
Hey,
in
give me
mine.
that money back, by the way.
Well,
Right.
we're talking about street stocks at Davenport. It was nice because of the rules and the other night bonus money for the IMCA stock
Yep.
cars that were there, and so I'm guessing just off the top of my head, Droslick got the 300,
Yep.
and probably Gustav got the 200. Is that right?
Chase Zaruba.
Chase
I believe
Zaruba,
was
or
his
Chase
first.
Zaruba
Yep.
got 200, and then Gustav got the
Gustav
100.
would have been the third, yeah.
Right.
And so when you talk about that, one thing about the guys is, as promoters, they're new to the business, but they think outside the box. So we had an issue with restarts in the Sport Mod feature, there for a couple of weeks, Davenport. So he says, "Hey, you guys go flag to flag. I'll give you a free tire."
Yep.
So
And
he
they did
started
it the
showing up
first
with free
night.
tires, and they went flag to flag.
Right.
And then they drew a name out of the hat. We got a free tire to one of the Sport Mod guys, and he did that with several of the classes this
I think
year.
one other class went flag to flag
Yep.
too. May have been the modifieds. that went
Right,
flag
it
to
was
flag.
modified.
I believe it was.
Because they tried to do a street stock and it didn't happen. It was close, but it was.
Real quick, let's sneak in our third pair of tickets. We're giving away 4 pairs tonight to the Dunright.TV Yankee Dirt Track Classic. That's right, Dunright.TV, the title sponsor of the 43rd annual Yankee Dirt Track Classic. Again, these tickets will will call at the ticket window. Answer on the Dunright TV Facebook page, and we're going to go Dunright TV here. And we're going to start with the Fall Bash last year. The Fall Bash last year, which was our very first pay-per-view event.
Yes, it was.
And it was an awesome 2 nights, except for wearing 7 layers of clothes.
So
But
stupid cold.
yeah, we've already put it out on the show. Our over/under on layers of clothes for this
I
year's
was
Fall
saying,
Bash
plan for it this year.
is at 6.5. So
Yeah,
6.5, yeah.
that's our over/under, and I've already taken the over on that. So our third pair of tickets. How many racing productions? How many racing shows? This is racing. Not we got some other things on but our racing shows has Dunright.TV produced, including last year's Fall Bash, and you have to answer within 2.
Oh, I want to answer that one. I got a good guess, but I'm not going to guess.
So again, how many racing productions has Dunright.TV produced? And this is just on the website. This isn't our Monday night shows or anything. How many racing
Careful, the
productions
camera's good.
has Dunright.TV produced since starting with the Fall Bash last October? And you have to answer within 2.
Okay.
I guess it's coming in.
And guesses are coming in. Well, I'm not
we
going
are.
to tell you if you're high or low. So
Yeah, that's true.
it's a guess. So again, how many racing productions has Dunright.TV done, including last year's Fall Bash, which was our first one on pay-per-view? Guys, more about Davenport.
More about Davenport. Here we go. We want to talk about one of the sad parts of the sport, too. We lost some
Couple of them
racers
this
this year. We lost Gil Short from Speedway Fire Rescue. The guy had been in it from back in the day. He started out, he had a business called Flame Tamers. It was with a guy named Roy Laughlin. They parted ways. he had his own company called A1 Fire Rescue.
Equipment, yep.
And so A1 Fire Equipment became A1 Fire Rescue at the racetrack, and then eventually Speedway Fire Rescue. So Gil Short, we lost him. Keith Bloom. Hey, the night at the racetrack when Jared Franzen, the Candyman,
That
put
was
that number
tough.
21 sheet metal on that car and went out, won the feature. It was like Keith was, riding with him that night. And when he pulled down there in Victory Lane, I got to tell you, the entire Bloom family, Carl Bloom, Kevin Bloom, former IMCA late model national champion, Kim Bloom, Kelly Bloom, they were all in tears.
Well, and I had to apologize to a lot of them because when I was talking to Jarrett in the car to try to get him lined up for the Victory Lane shot, I said Keith back up over the radio, and I was like, "Oh my, did I really just say that?"
Yeah.
And they're all like, "No, that's perfect,"
Yeah.
because Keith was in that car with him then, and
Right.
Jared will say it too. He was in that car with him.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a winner. Chuck Hobbs. Guess 71. It's 72
Wow.
events we've done, starting with the Fall Bash last week.
That is
up to this
awesome.
point.
All
72.
right.
And on our website, if anybody went there, it's going to say 73, but one of those was a MMA deal. So
Two would have been one. Yeah.
yeah, one MMA deal. So, but Chuck Hobbs, you're within two. The answer was 72.
So the other one I want to bring up was Sean Lewis.
Yes.
And it was one of those, he had a medical event going down a backstretch, on a pace lap. I'm a guy, I've got heart disease. I've been through open heart surgery last year in August. And, I can say, gentlemen out there listening tonight, women out there listening tonight, and, if you have a jaw pain you don't normally have, if you got a pain in your hand, you got a pain in your lower back or anything unusual like that, you're out of breath, and you go, well, it's probably just I'm, getting older and I'm out of shape. Go in and get it checked out because that can be the difference between you sitting here with the Done Right guys talking about racing.
Or being talked about on the Done Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And so, we sure miss him. And, he's a great man, great family. And, I went down and talked to the Lewis family down in Kewanee, Illinois after that event. And Speedway Fire Rescue had donated checks, so we'd dropped that off. But, they're still devastated. And I would be too. I can't imagine losing, a child. And then finally, John Bell, we lost him, a week ago.
Just a week ago, yeah.
And here John is, he had number 11 late model. John, he struggled with diabetes. He had that company, Goodyear over in Rock Island, and he was with Goodyear forever. And he ended up buying the company at the end, the Rock Island location. Great guy, and you blink your eyes and he's gone. So try to be kind-hearted to everybody. It's tough at a racetrack sometimes, but you never know when you're going to get called home. Now, I did see on the internet tonight, and it's probably going to be posted on the Mississippi Valley Fairgrounds website in a couple of weeks, and they're going to have a gathering of friends for John Bell. So,
That's what Dave said Friday.
don't wait for an invite. Just go.
Just go.
And, Sean Loader, the Mississippi Valley Fairgrounds, and John's sister, Vicki, who works in the office along with her daughter, they only do things one way. They do it right. And it's going to be a great event with things winding down. You don't want to miss it. And it's a way to honor, a person who dedicated his whole life to racing, with John Bell. I mean, Red Bell was one of the original promoters of Hawkeye
I was gonna
Raceway.
say, weren't they in promotion at one
Yeah.
point in time?
Red,
too?
Red
Yeah.
Bell was the first of the new promoters to own the track after it sat dormant for years,
Yeah.
and he bought
That's
it.
what I was
and-
thinking.
And I got to tell you
Rehab
something
it.
about Red Bell. They had Hawkeye used auto parts right next door. And, I was running street stock back then. And if you broke a tie rod, drag link, whatever it may be, Red would say, run over to the junkyard and get it. You can have it. And you go over there. And I go over there one night. I had an Impala front end underneath my car. And here is a new drag link, new idler arm, new tie rods. And they all got the Moog sticker still hanging on them. And Red said, hey, just take them. And so, when you got a guy like that was promoting the track, you wanted to race for him. And he also had Bell's Auto Sales, and Red Bell drove race cars. He was big on buying Ronnie Whedon's old, when Ronnie got done with him, he'd sell them to Red Bell. And so Denny Stewart was the late model track champion.
It was his son-in-law, I believe.
It was his son-in-law back when Red was promoting the racetrack. And he was, Red Bell back then was run number 0. Denny Stewart painted his car just like Ronnie Whedon's, but it was black and tan, or brown and tan, and it was number 3. And and he was their first track champion in late model when Red started on the track. So great history in that whole family, and John's going to be sorely missed.
And
We
they're all
love him.
great people. I mean,
We
it'll help
just love the
anybody
whole
out
family.
any day of the week.
And I got to tell you that it doesn't matter who we're talking about here. Racing really is family, and we love one another. And it's amazing how, like you say, you can be fighting with somebody, or somebody might have chewed Brett out over, hey, you didn't score this right, and then they're offering him a generator when his power goes out. So people really come to the aid of those in need.
Well, and even
in the
on the
racing
crew
community.
side, you guys know a lot of what's going on in my life this year, and
Yeah.
I've lost some very important people, and there's
Tough.
people at the track have been there for me, and Shane's been there, and Rob, you've been there, and Bibster has been there, late night parties afterwards, and Sean Voisin, I'll throw a shout out to him. Him and I have
heck
spent
yeah.
hours talking, and if I didn't have that, I don't know where I would be right now, because it's been a terrible year for everybody, and just
There's if you go to my page, Shane Davis, on Facebook, Shane Carolee Davis. That's my wife's name, Carolee. But you're going to see one of three things. You're going to see stuff about my granddaughter, my family. Put those together. You're going to see racing on there, and then my
Your
faith
faith.
in Christ.
Good for you.
And so.
And there's a lot of those that keep me going every day.
I'll go back to even Ron Marks Jr. When the good Lord called him home. He didn't have a pastor or a church, and I was able to go in there and do the services for Ron Marks Jr. But I got to tell you, the turnout at the funeral home that day, they packed the main sanctuary, the overflow sanctuary, and they set speakers up in the parking lot. That's how racers come out for Gary Reinhardt and come out for a Ron Marks Jr. And, all those great racers when, their days behind the wheel are finally done, the Lord calls them home. We've got all these great memories, and people support those type people.
Another one I remember also, and this is way back when, back in the early '80s, when Raleigh Frank lost his daughter, and,
boy.
the same thing at Runge. The entire place was packed, and it overflowed to the outside. And that's the way the racing family's always been since
I
I've
remember
been
that with
involved.
Ronnie Whedon's
Yes.
up at the fairgrounds. And I remember somebody saying that this is just like losing Dale Earnhardt. And I said, no. So this isn't even close to losing Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah.
Losing Ronnie Whedon was much bigger in this area than Dale Earnhardt ever would have been.
I remember somebody coming up to me and said they didn't know who the gathering was for, and they said, hey, did the governor of Iowa pass away? And it was because of the massive crowd there at the Speedway. And another one, when I was promoting up at, the old East Moline Speedway, Herschel Roberts passed.
Herschel, yeah.
And I remember 2011, here's the guy who's, battling stage 4 cancer. And, he knew the end was drawing near. And he came into my office one day and sat down and said, Shane, what can I do for you? How can I help you succeed? And I thought, even knowing that the end was drawing near, he's still wanting to help people out, and that was Herschel. And so now I see Dunright's behind, the Roberts racing team. Kenny Roberts is just, a great guy, just great like his dad was, and he'd do anything for you. And so I'm glad to see the Dunright name on the side of that 58 car.
We as well, along with Sling Studio and Dish TV, all part of that. And before we wrap up, let's get to our fourth and final pair of tickets to the Dunright.tv Yankee Dirt Track Classic. That's right, Dunright.tv. If you're just tuning in, the title sponsor to the 43rd Yankee Dirt Track Classic. You can have Friday or Saturday. Well, Thursday you can have tickets if you want, but they don't cost you anything. But we have tickets for Friday or Saturday, Yankee Dirt Track Classic, 300 Raceway. Our final question, and I just found out about the free tickets like a half hour before we went on the air, a little bit more than that. So I would have loved to do a modified question, but I did a late model question. There's been one 5-time late model winner, whether it was open competition, IMCA, NASCAR, or Malvern Bank SLMR. One 5-time winner on the late model side. Answer on the Dunright.tv page, and we have 2 tickets for you to the Yankee Dirt Track Classic.
Hey, I want to say one thing before we close. We've talked about all the different classes, but a class that's near and dear to my heart are the 4-cylinder sport compacts. And I mean, when you look at Ricky Kai, Justin, and Dustin Kai all ran those sport compacts. And, it's an entry-level class. And then we fast forward all of these years, And now you've got Ricky promoting the racetrack, Ricky and Brenda. You've got Justin Kai, a 4-time IMCA national champion. And, the good Lord called Dustin home, and he would have been a champion himself.
Yes, he would have.
But that all come from the 4-cylinder sport compact class. And so, I know there are times when, I've had people come out and say, hey, sport compact, Shane. And I said, you know what? That is where people cut their teeth. They cut them in go-karts, sport compacts, and they move on to, other things if they can. But they learn, hey, do I like this racing gig or do I not like it?
Mm-hmm.
Terry Ryan, you got it, buddy. Steve Kaziski. So, Terry Ryan, I know you're going to be in the pits, but anyway, we'll have 2 tickets under your name at 300 Raceway. So, yeah, Steve Kaziski, the answer. He's the only 5-time late model winner of the Yankee Dirt Track Classic.
Well, and you talk about, Shane, about people are, developing classes. I don't know if you saw that picture QC Cartway posted, and it was a bunch of their drivers.
Yeah.
They were hanging out in the pits last night at the bull ring, and I always think that's so cool. I know the first time I was at the bull ring, you see when you're in the stands of it's a sea of motorsports around there because
Right.
when you get there, usually the go-karts are just finishing up for the afternoon. And to see kind of the next generation of racers is right there. They're in the foreground.
They're right there.
They're right there. And so it's
Yeah.
like they can hear the cars, as races are coming in. So it's kind of cool to see, I know Nick Prohl, he just bought his son a go-kart because his son they were at East Moline one day, and his son was like, what's going on over there? So they walked over there, checked it out, and it was actually a buddy of mine that was Derek Wilson was selling his, and he goes, hey, I got one for sale, and I saw he had it for sale. I said, hey, Derek, sell him yours. And so he's going to have his son out there racing, and he even said, might change my race plans, but that's okay. And I think that's, there's a couple of races we talked to that have had that mentality of, they're getting into it, so I'm going to have to, I might have to change a little bit, but to see that next generation grow, that's what keeps the sport alive.
That's what keeps it alive. Like
Then you get into situations like the UMP races that rained out there where Tyler Carpenter jumped in a go-kart and went racing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now, that
how many
was
of those
funny.
kids are going to
Come
be
on.
like, I just raced with, he's going to be one of the greatest
Yeah.
late model drivers
Right.
out there.
Yeah.
And how many of those kids are going to remember that? I
One
raced
December in
against him.
dirt, put it on him. I mean, man.
Yeah.
And then, you guys up at East Moline a couple of weeks ago, Gary Webb picking up his 520.
Yep, that was awesome.
Career feature win. To me, watching those guys from when I was a kid and now seeing them still competing at his age and winning races, there's just nothing better.
Yep.
Just nothing better.
And he finished, I believe, second last
He
night.
was
Yeah,
second
he was
last
about
night.
to
He
be
almost
again.
had 521.
Yeah, I was sitting there going, boy, we're going getting.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I think is so cool about watching with Gary Webb is, he's not, some guys as they get older in the sport, they're still out there, but they're not, you don't see them at the front of the pack, and they're out, but they're still having fun. But you watch Webb, and he's out there at the front of the pack going up against, and around here, our late models aren't anything to shake a stick at.
No.
Like, you got national champions running this, so like Matt Ryan's right up there with him. So you're having to beat the best of the best, and
Right.
so to be able to be at that level at his age still is super impressive as
Yeah.
a fan and as someone involved in it.
And
And here's Matt defending IMCA national champion, and Webb's right up there running with him.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Gary is probably one of he comes in with a smile, and at Moline especially, he'll come back. How many cars do we got? All right, I'm gonna go get on the phone, and
Yeah.
he's all
He's there
about
to
getting
help.
cars to the racetrack.
There to help.
It's about what's gonna take to get people there. So he's great for the sport, and it's gonna be sad when he retires, and I'm sure it's coming soon, but.
I don't know, boy. He's still going strong.
still going good, and he's still having fun.
Walking through the pits before the races, and they're still fixing damage from Burlington the night before. It
Yeah.
was he had the back quarter panel off, and he's hammering on the quarter panel as I'm walking
Right.
walking through the pits.
It's just crazy.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Hey, I'm tired of 61, and he's 71 and still out there racing.
I know.
So, kind of makes you feel bad.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I better go buy a race car.
That's right. Closing thoughts, guys, on Davenport for 2020.
A thought I'm going to leave you with is the best is yet to come. And one of the things that we're going to change is you talked about, the scrolling running order. What's going to help that is a transponder. I'll probably get beat up over this, but my feeling in my heart today is we're going to have transponders next year at Davenport Speedway, and that's just going to move a little more of the racing scoring to technology and efficiency, and it's going to help you all with the way you do your program. So, the closing thought for me is the best is yet to come at Davenport. Got a lot of great things, on the horizon.
Hey, Brett?
I'm going to second that. I mean, I think the best is every year has gotten better. I mean, they started at a half a year, came in turmoil, and we made a great year out of the half a year. Just blew it out of the water this year. Car counts, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, like I say, I keep the numbers, but I don't know them right off the top of my head. I think per class we had the best in Eastern Iowa. We had the best car counts weekly, and I think that's going to get better and better and better. I don't know if there's any more cars out there we can get, but I think it's going to get better and better. And I'm glad to be part of it. I'm glad to be working next to a legend. I mean,
Thanks, Brad.
you are a legend. I'm going to tell you,
Rob is a legend.
when I came into this, I said,
I'm kidding.
I'm going to sit here with two guys that are a wealth of knowledge, and then there's me and Bibster.
Pretty much.
And we made the show.
Come on. Yeah.
I mean, these two have probably forgotten more than I know.
Oh,
so,
for me, for sure.
and for me to be able to sit next to Shane every Friday night, I wish I could do it all weekend long.
Hey, we have a good time. We
Yes, we
really
do.
have a good time, and that's what it's all about. You and Bibster, when I listen to you guys on the podcast, you're joking around, you're having a good time, and if you ain't having fun, why
That's
do
what
it?
it's all
Oh,
about.
exactly. I mean, this is what, if racing is, and I think a lot of times, and we always talk about it, it's a serious thing, but at the same time, we're in the entertainment business.
Yes, we
We
are.
are.
And that's something I think a lot of times you have to kind of step back and realize it's entertainment. I happen to be just capturing the entertainment most of the time, but it's still
You're
that way.
doing an important part of
And
the
it's still,
entertainment.
but I mean, it's a point of you have to be able to take yourself, not be super serious about it sometimes, being like, all right, just kind of laugh about it. So when something happens crazy, you're like, all right, we're just gonna laugh about this. Like, did that just happen? Yeah. Like, what was it? There was one track. Oh, it was at Burlington. Someone hit an infield tire, just started rolling down the track. I mean, there was a 66-inch ag tire rolling down the track. Sprint cars going left and right. And I'm sitting there going, well, this could be entertaining. Like,
filming the tire.
I was filming the tire. Like, here we go. But it's just that kind of fact of like, the end of the night, we're getting, you're spending a lot of money to impress people you don't know to have some fun. So you might as well have some fun with it.
Might as well have some fun with it.
When I lived down in Florida, and I love watching tractor tires roll down. And finally, one flagman picked up his checkered flag, waved it at the tractor tire as it went across start finish line.
I got to tell you, I'm up at Maquoketa one night. This has been a few years back, and I'm announcing down the infield, and the crowd's just going crazy. And I thought, my God, man, I'm really killing it tonight. And I turned around, and there was a streaker running down the backstretch. and I thought, okay, that's why they're going crazy. And back then, they didn't have the pit area back there. They had the wooded area. So the rest of the night, every time I turned to call the backstretch, as the cars were going down the backstretch, you could see all the policemen's flashlights out there looking for this guy. And I don't know what happened to the guy. They never found him. But it was just like, oh, my God. What next?
That's
Still on
awesome.
the run out there.
Yeah.
Hey,
Come
Right,
to
still out in the
track
woods
near
of Maquoketa. See anybody out in Maquoketa with no clothes on?
Hey, on the calendar this week, the Roberts Motorsports race cars. Not sure what their plans are. I know a couple big races coming up in Sycamore, including one for $10,000 to win on the 19th of September. More than likely, they've been running good at Sycamore. Don't know what they're doing this weekend. Tyler Soppe, pretty easy. He'll be at Farley for the Yankee. And hopefully we get him back to East Moline. He left unscathed last night and with a 6th place finish. So hopefully he'll come.
I got to tell you something funny about his trip to East Moline.
Yes, sir.
He come in, and Tyler's 99% of the time is in a really good mood. I've seen him that 1% of the time, but we won't talk about that.
Hey, nobody wants
But
to
he
talk
comes
about
in
that.
and he says, so I'm here to knock the wall down and take the body off. And I'm kind of looking at him. He goes, well, we brought a brand new wrap, and I got a brand new body for Farley next week. And he says, I figured I'd bring it down here and see if I could knock the body off of it
That'll
so that
learn
I
you.
had less work to do.
That'll learn you, Tyler.
And then it didn't happen. He
didn't
went
happen.
home with it
Oh,
looking as good as it came in. So
It did. Production-wise, Yankee Dirt Track Classic, we will be there. And then we'll be back at the Bull Ring on Sunday. So things starting to wind down a little bit.
just
But
a little.
we have shows all the way up to October 31st.
Yeah. So
And I got to tell you, too, I had heard that, the IMCA Super Nationals are not going to be televised this year. That was what I was told. You guys can do a little research on that. They've been televised for several years.
thought I heard IMCA TV was doing it, but I
I'd
could be
heard
wrong.
that,
Yeah, speed. I know. Yeah, Super Nationals.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. The
IMCA
official
TV,
Hey.
working through Speed Sport, will be doing
So, Brent Pryor, you were wrong. But I'm not going to tell you who it came from.
it. Well, again, we went through this on the show, many months ago. But the company that had been doing it is not doing it. But IMCA TV has launched their own TV this year,
Good.
via Speed Sport TV with the help of Speed Sport TV, and so IMCA TV will be at the IMCA Super Nationals.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, over 800 cars all week long, the best of the best from across the United States. If you haven't been to the IMCA Super Nationals, You want to go to the World 100, you want to do the IMCA Super Nationals. They're one of the premier events that in your racing lifetime, you got to go check it out because it's just a good time.
I've
Great
been to
racing.
both.
Now, I do have to ask, you made a comment that you got stuff going on through October 31st.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I can't think of any races past October 4th.
Oh,
Sure.
there's a
What-
few.
So I'm
Well, we're
kind
going
of
to be
curious
at
what
Lee
you
County
got going
Speedway
on.
in Donaldson twice in October.
Okay.
And
Fall Bash.
And we'll be at the Fall Bash, and then we will be for the first time ever on pay-per-view the Fall Festival at Oskaloosa.
Okay.
We'll be there for 2 nights in middle of October.
I'm just trying to think, where's these races at? You guys are, is this
Sliding
something?
scale of
Is this a
cold puns.
secret?
Right.
It's as it gets closer to November, the cold pun gets more.
Now-
Gets better.
And then
I
next
was
year,
wa- I was
next year, are
watching-
you working on dirt in December too, or?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wouldn't that be nice?
We're in fact, I watched. We froze at the Fall Bash, but then I'm watching last year's video of the Shiverfest down at Donaldson, and everybody was in shirt sleeves on October 31st or something
go
like
figure.
that. So,
Yep.
Yeah,
Go
figured
figure.
that. But hey, gentlemen, thanks for coming in.
Thanks
Always,
a lot for having us.
always love having you, and we'll do it again to preview the 2021 season.
There we go.
There you
We're
go.
ready.
Brett Severson and Shane Davis with us, sir. Any parting?
Just make sure to get watching the Yankee. We're excited.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's one of those. I mean, we kind of were really talking about an A that's coming this weekend and B beginning of the season. It was one of the races. There's a few races that we said we want to try and get this. This is our goal. We're gonna try and get everything to a level where we get it. So the fact that we have that for us is just a really big accomplishment. So we're excited. We hope you guys are excited too. So yeah, make sure to get in on that. You can get signed up. I'm sure you'll see
Tomorrow.
As I said, I know the website will be coming up.
Sites will be up tomorrow.
Sites will be up tomorrow. So make sure to get signed up early.
I know the guy that puts them together.
Yeah, you're pretty old. And make sure to get signed up early because you can. A lot of people don't realize that you can sign up early. If anything happens, like let's say there's bad things happen, rain or whatever, that week we take care of that all on our end, so you don't have to worry about it. So don't be nervous about. Well, what if I don't know if I want to sign up early? Sign
It
up
hasn't
early.
rained in 3 weeks.
I know. But
I got you.
knock on the whatever fake wood this
Here,
is.
here comes
But,
Hurricane number 2.
But just get signed up early. We're excited. It's gonna be a fun weekend, and then we still get to hang out at East Moline for the rest of the month, and that's gonna be really fun.
Well, anybody that's never been to Farley, especially for the Yankee, I mean, Farley
What a
is
race.
bad, fast racing this year.
Yeah.
I even watching, I watched it last Wednesday. I haven't been to Farley in 2 years, and they were super fast there. They're almost just as fast on that quarter mile or whatever size it is as they were back in the day on a half mile. So
Sure. And
it's going to be a good show.
It'll be my first Yankee since 1985. Tom Hurst won that
Hurst,
Hawkeye
yeah.
Downs.
My first since 1988 because that's when I was born.
Man, you're a pup.
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
Hey, congratulations to Lisa Benningfield, Steve Avenarius, Steve, I hope I pronounced that right, Chuck Hobbs, Terry Ryan. You are our ticket winners to the DoneRight.tv 43rd Yankee Dirt Track Classic. You can pick up your tickets at the ticket window. They'll be on a will call basis, and you can go Thursday or Friday or Saturday if you want. We're going to be up there Thursday with live practice, and more right now we don't more than likely just be on our Facebook page.
Yep.
Facebook and maybe YouTube, but then Friday and Saturday on DoneRight.tv, and those sites will be up tomorrow, and you can start buying if you want to watch from the comfort of your own home or garage. I can't believe the amount of garage parties around Davenport, especially they have watching races.
Bernard, Iowa. I'm not going to throw any names out there, but they have some good garage parties.
They have a 3-day garage party called the Fall Bash too.
They'll probably be at the Yankees, so there probably won't be much garage party that week.
Oh
Right.
boy.
They'll take the garage party on the road. I'm assuming though.
Oh yeah, yes. There's
Check
been
our
nights
flags
I
out.
left.
Absolutely. Check our flags out on this edition of the Go Fast podcast. Again, for Brett Severson, Shane Davis, Bipster, Kyle Jackson. Mrs. Bipster, thanks for keeping us in line.
Yes.
And for the man, Kelly Jeffries, I'm Rob Hinckley. God bless everybody, and we'll see